It may not be obvious when looking at these prints that they are over 160 years old because they have a kind of a freshness to them that kind of draws you in. Salt and Silver covers the first 2 decades of photography, so from 1840 roughly to 1860. Even though early American photography is identified as being mostly daguerreotypes, in fact, the salt print and the sort of positive-negative process of it, the fact that you can reproduce multiple prints from a single negative, that's really what's at the core of photography today. You can have an image that can travel much further than that one single unique piece of paper could travel. And that was really essential to the function of photography, making it possible to be in London or in Paris and yet simultaneously be all around the world in the way that those empires were reaching all around the world. All of the prints that are on display in this exhibition are from a private collection in London. The one exception is we're showing an album from our collection here at Yale. We call it the Sarah Annette Jones album. It's named after the young woman who compiled it. And we've included this album in this exhibition in part to highlight Mary Dillwyn herself. So she is probably the most well-known woman photographer who worked with the salt print process. And this album contains several really remarkable photographs by Mary Dillwyn. That work like hers is mounted in albums is one of the reasons why women sometimes get left out of the writing of the history of early photography. The other photographers in this exhibition who were male, their work was produced for a public setting of some kind, like either they were published or they were being sold or they might have been exhibited. So I think resurrecting the presence of women in early photography means taking these albums seriously and kind of on their own terms. Photography is embedded in everything that we do. It's in our family practices, photojournalism, science, and one of the things that makes the works in this exhibition, I think, so important is that they show the origins of that kind of embeddedness in the rest of culture. And so when you walk through this exhibition, I hope people can see that photography is not just part of art, it's part of the history of archaeology, it's part of the history of empire and colonial governance, it's part of the history of war and journalism about war. It's about all of those histories, and it's just so much more than art. What I want is for people to come in and experience the immediacy of these prints and then reflect upon the ubiquity of photographs in their own lives and understand that there's a long, rich history to that. If you go back and look at your family photos from 30, 40, 50 years ago, how have they fared? They're fading, they're discolored, they're probably stored in plastic sleeves and like a bit of the emulsion is peeling off. I mean, it's like these prints they're so stunning, they're in such fine condition. I don't know any other place where you're going to be able to see more than 100 salt prints that look like this in one place. I mean, it's just really extraordinary. I think that will grab people right away. It should.